Good Sunday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We got another Watchmen update. We got some interesting things happening on out there. Let's get into it. We're going to be covering North Carolina's Department of Transportation's systems are down, impacting license issuing. We got peace talks in Eastern Europe. Look like they're about to begin, so that may be some good news on the horizon. Finland decides that it wants to get involved in conflicts in the Middle East for some reason. We got the United States ramping up military deployments in the Caribbean, fighter jets and drones there. We're going to talk about potentially a conflict with Venezuela. New York continues to try to infringe on President Trump's constitutional rights, and the feds have sued California's main electricity provider for billions of dollars. That and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. All right, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They have been with this channel for quite a while. They support this channel and allow this to do what we do best here, which is continue to share information amongst ourselves. They believe in what we do. They're very much like-minded. They are a Christian-based business. Businesses can't be Christian, but the people inside them can be. And they are, by and large, people of faith there. And they try to run it by Christian principles. So if that's something that you want to find out more about, moving your retirement account over to gold, silver, or platinum, physical metals, physical coins, or bars, you can talk to Jonathan and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right. 7 German legislative candidates have perished in the last 2 weeks. And they're all from the same party. Now, we're being told that these are natural causes, but it's starting to look a whole lot, well, too convenient. Is it just a bunch of coincidences that a whole bunch of people seem to be perishing from the same party? Well, it just also happens to be the party that the intelligence agency there is spying on, and they're trying to make this party illegal there because, let's just say, they want fiscal sanity. They want to get out of the conflict in Eastern Europe. They don't want other people coming to their place anymore. Can't have those thoughts. You're just going to have an accident over there somewhere or something. So we're keeping an eye on that. Election is coming up here shortly, and all the opposition candidates seem to be keeling over for some reason. And if you're cynical at all, you're seeing the writing on the wall there. All right, moving over to another corrupt place, New York State, Attorney General there, Letitia James, is asking an appeal court to reinstate a $500 million penalty on President Trump. So a lower court tossed it out and said, this is, let's just put it in their words, Justice Moulton said in an opinion that the lower court's penalty order is a, quote, excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. So New York is violating President Trump's civil rights, and Attorney General Letitia James is like, no, we're gonna keep doing it. Let's not stop. Let's put it back in. I don't care if it's unconstitutional. I don't care if it's violating someone's constitutional rights. He's bad. So therefore, we need to do whatever we can. $500 million penalty for what again? Exactly. Who was defrauded? Who actually lost money on this? Nobody lost money on this. The banks themselves that this fraud occurred against said, no, we don't have a problem with what he did. He said this property was worth this much amount of money. The bank reviewed it and said, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. And they then offered him terms on loan. They're saying, the government is saying that he overstated the value of Mar-a-Lago, but a lot of people out there are saying basically that the government of New York is so flagrantly wrong in their interpretation of what the valuation should be that they're clearly in the wrong, and somehow that equates to a $500 million fine. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, moving over to Europe, Eastern Europe, Zelensky has refused an invitation to Moscow for peace talks. Now, he's probably right to do that. I mean, that's if you're going to go for peace talks, you don't go to the enemy's capital. That's what you do if you're surrendering. If you're surrendering, then you go to the other country's capital. So Zelensky replied back and told Putin that Putin needed to come to Kiev. What this really means is that they're actually making opening arguments in their negotiations. So what will probably happen is a third location, a third country, someone who's seen as somewhat neutral, like maybe Turkey or something like that, will be proposed as a location for peace talks, and Putin and Zelensky will show up for that. So this is what they've been pushing for, to have a bilateral meeting between Russia and Ukraine to actually come up with a peace deal. They probably aren't doing this until they've at least agreed in principle to some of the proposals. They don't want to show up there and then just not be able to make a peace deal, right? So this does seem to bode well that in the background, agreements seem to be being made. So we may see those negotiations take place soon. Now, of course, one of the parties could be just doing this in bad faith. That's always possible. All right, Finland has joined a declaration on a two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinians. Why is Finland involved in this? Well, you've got me on that one. Finland is joining the French and Saudi New York Declaration. Now, we're going to see this in the next week as the General Assembly kicks off at the UN. This is going to be a whole bunch of countries are basically joining this whole thing. Countries that are completely not involved in the Middle East all have an opinion on how peace should be achieved in the Middle East. And they're all under this idea that there should be two states, which is interesting because Israel has repeatedly offered a two-state solution to the Palestinians, but the Palestinians have refused it multiple times. And yeah, some of it's just devils in the detail kind of thing, but the thing that I think these Europeans are completely overlooking, which is the most obvious thing, which is the Palestinians having their own country doesn't solve a thing. Because the Palestinians are at war with Israel. And Israel's at war with the Palestinians. So by creating a country for them just means that Israel's at war with a country as opposed to with the people. So part of the reason why Israel was okay with the two-state solution was like, hey, if they hit us, we'll just invade their country. And then it will be us invading a sovereign country and not just us attacking citizens of our own country. Because Palestine, the Palestinian areas, Gaza, West Bank, are technically part of Israel. The world governments don't like to talk about that, but that's who controls those areas. The Israeli Defense Forces control those areas and have for quite a while. So, and we all know that possession is 9/10 ownership, right? All right, the federal government has filed 2 lawsuits against Southern California Edison, alleging that the utility's equipment sparked fires, including January's Eaton fire in the Los Angeles area, which destroyed more than 9,400 structures and killed 17 people. This is a big, big thing. If all those costs that the federal government incurred are passed on to the utility, that utility is going to have to pass those costs on to the people that get serviced by the electricity. Now, we have this utility that's been focusing so much on green energy, putting up solar panels, and all this kind of stuff like that they haven't been servicing their power lines. They haven't been clear-cutting around their power lines enough because, that's against the environment or something. And because of that, their wires have been hitting trees and setting them ablaze. Negligence. They should have been spending that money on maintenance of their equipment, but instead they were trying to chase green pipe dreams. All right, the United States has ordered the deployment of 10 F-35 fighter jets, stealth fighter jets, to a Puerto Rico airfield and are going to be conducting operations against drug cartels. We've reported on that earlier. This is right after 2 Venezuelan F-16s flew threateningly over a U.S. destroyer just the other day. And we also have pictures surfacing of U.S. Predator drones with Hellfire missiles on them, also at an airfield in Puerto Rico. Now, the big news here is that we are now getting reports that President Trump is actively considering launching airstrikes on cartel locations and cartel targets inside Venezuela, which that would be a big deal. Launching airstrikes against a country in the Western Hemisphere we haven't seen that in quite a while. But the Trump administration is very much against what the cartels have been doing to the American people. All these dangerous and illicit substances coming into the United States are ending the lives of so many Americans and impacting the families of so many Americans. It's time that the U.S. military defend America as opposed to attacking countries that happen to have oil. Christina says, all of North Carolina's CDL licenses cannot be renewed. All the systems are down for an undisclosed time. What the heck are we supposed to do? I can't get my hazmat renewed. And apparently that's broader than just the CDLs. It's all driver's license systems, and many of the systems at the Department of Transportation there in North Carolina are impacted. So if you're down in that area, be aware of that. Bright Star says the food banks in north central Idaho have been cutting back and giving much rotten produce and past expiration date non-perishables. Sometimes the dates are good, very discouraging when getting assistance, and I have to toss the rotten produce that is needed to survive on my little Social Security income. It's impacting real people out there. We talked about how the food banks are running out of food. There's a lot more people coming to the food banks because they have more needs, and there's a lot less donations going into food banks at the same time because food costs are up. So companies and individuals are donating less. So if you have enough, if you need to rotate your pantry, consider donations if you have stuff that's still in date, please. All right, Lori V says, my daughter was in Walmart in Kalispell, Montana yesterday. She said that there was little to no coffee, no Maxwell House at all, very little choice on cheese, and big bare spots on the shelves. The second thing, when I was talking to my cousin in Michigan last night, she said carrots didn't grow well this year. People were only getting a few, if any, that they planted, and none of the big carrot fields were even planted this year because muck fields were quite common in that area compared to years past. She also said that carrots in the stores were far and few between and very high priced. Anybody else have bad carrot harvests in their garden? Mine here in northwest Montana are okay-ish. Lots of small mediums and some bigger ones. Overall, down about 50% though, I'm guessing. So is anyone else having issues with carrots this year? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you use the word update. Or are you seeing shortages on the shelves at stores of carrots? Dr. Holistic Hippie says, relative to the Wi-Fi problem, I have lived here in East Central Mississippi for 2 years with the best internet service I could ask for. But over the past 2 weeks, it keeps going out. Tech's changed my router, but it's still horrible. Is it unusual sunspot activity? Solar activity should not directly impact the signal of your Wi-Fi. It's just not the same kind of signal. And so stuff coming from the sun is not going to impact between your router and you. But it can impact the internet provider itself or the wires coming in. That's potentially possible. Have we been seeing unusual sunspot activity in just the last couple weeks? Not really. So this is probably something else, faulty equipment, or some issue with your provider. Is anyone else having major issues with internet? Let me know. But as of now, I'm not hearing major outages out there. So, Standing Watch in Arizona says here in Benson, Arizona, the Dollar Tree has posted new prices starting at $1.50. I remember when it was 99 cents. Can't we all? We all remember that, don't we? Oh, well, I think most Dollar Trees were $1, though. They weren't 99 cents. 99-cent stores were. Anyway, Sandra says, Walmart, no canned chicken, only canned tuna here. Is anyone else seeing issues with canned chicken? I haven't heard people complaining about that yet, so it may just be a one-off, but let me know if you guys are seeing issues with canned chicken there too. Joyce says, I live in western Washington State and have noticed river hawthorn tree across from my apartment is dropping seeds and fruit more than usual. The birds that normally eat them just aren't there though, and the white vinegar at Kroger is in very low supply. That's the gallon size. We haven't had issues with vinegar just recently. Last year we had some problems, and the year before we had a lot of problems, but all right, it is canning season after all. Kim says, Southern California, Los Angeles area. We always had wild parrots flying around here, goofy birds, goofy flyers. They always made me laugh. Now we have 0. Also, all the squirrels are gone. Again, that's in Southern California, Los Angeles area. Litteraine says, went to Aldi's. Shelves were at least 1/4 empty. The entire store was rearranged and very few customers. Walmart was very much better. This is West Virginia, Eastern Panhandle. Carrie says T-Mobile has been horrible with the outages in Tennessee. I've heard a number of people complaining about T-Mobile. I'm actually on T-Mobile. I haven't had problems, but then again, I've been outside the country for a bunch recently. So, but I haven't had problems here in the U.S. But anyway, Joan says squirrels have disappeared. An abundance of large oaks, but no acorns. This is in the North Carolina Smokies. 4 huge black walnut trees with no walnuts. No birds, little garden crops that started out great and have died. And Julio from Denver says Lower Michigan. Went into Ann Arbor yesterday for a car dealership for a second car. A certain gentleman who's a salesman there, who speaks a different language, Spanish, sold almost 180 cars this year, which is quite a few. All the others, all of them were others. No driver's licenses and social security numbers, not having those. The gentleman that was helping us was dumbfounded on how this was possible for this other guy. All the new cars, and they were all new cars. Playing stupid maybe, but how do you get those loans? How do you get all that stuff worked out? Anyway, but he explained the process for the others getting it pretty well. One giant scam that many people are benefiting from, including some so-called Americans. I'm not sure about that. Do anyone has any additional information on that? Other people from other places who aren't supposed to be in the United States buying cars in the U.S. How are they doing that? Is that just a thing? Is that not a thing? If you work for a car dealership or know somebody who does, I appreciate you guys asking some questions and letting us know. Make sure you use word update, of course. Utopic Confection says, I live in a small community in Wisconsin. I just heard yesterday that one of the area food pantries is closing at the end of July. Another one will close at the beginning of October, and 2 other ones tied to churches have closed already this year. Last September, the only grocery store in the county closed. We have a couple of small shops that sell food, mostly bulk food items, but not much fresh produce. And we have a Walmart left in our county. Thankfully, we have 2 farmers markets, but they both end the season about 4 weeks' time from now. And Willow Bean has a good tip here. NutriStore, freeze-dried food, is closing down and is having a clearance sale. That's NutriStore, if you're familiar with them. If you are military, you can also get your military discount for even more savings. Just bought some more to stock up. So check NutriStore out. I have no connection to them, but apparently they have a sale going on for freeze-dried stuff. All right, friends, thanks so much for being part of the Watchmen community. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.